Hello, we are Group 5. Today our group's presentation title is Logic, the physiology of decision making. Every day we make thousands of decisions. Some lead to success, but some lead to costly mistakes. That's what reason. From a logical perspective, people make good or bad decisions mainly for three reasons. First comes to the quality of premises. Good decisions need complete and true information as starting points. If people get false or incomplete facts, sound logic still leads to wrong choices. Second is flawed reasoning. Even with correct information, logical facilities such as hasty conclusion or false clarity will ruin judgments. Third, limited rationality stops us from collecting our data due to time and cost limits. Besides, different goal standards also change the definition of good decision. That's why our choices turn out to be either good or bad.
Logic and arguments are vital to our choices. Logic is like a set of simple rules for our thinking. It helps us tell clear thought reasoning apart from guesses or feelings. It keeps our choices consistent so we don't just go with what feels right. Let's move to argument. An argument is how we use facts to build a thought decision. As its core, it follows three steps. First, start with the fact or premises. 2. Connect them with reasoning, the inference. Finally, reach a clear conclusion. That's the basic structure. For evaluating a sound argument, we need: first, are the facts we use true and reliable? That's the truth of the premises. Second, does the conclusion follow natural from those facts with no random draws? That's the validity of the inference. When we use faulty premises, bad or incomplete facts, or fall into broken inferences, where logic skips stands, our argument collapses. That's why these standards keep decisions strong.
About this part, deductive reasoning and rule-based decision-making. First, deductive reasoning works from a general rule to a specific, certain conclusion. If the premises are true, the conclusion must also be logical true. This connects directly to rule-based decision-making, where we follow the fixed rules or standards to make consistent, reliable choice. Let's look at the example here. The first premise is the general rule. All accounting students must take financial reporting. The second is I'm an accounting student. So we reach the conclusion, therefore I must take financial reporting. And finally, we make the decision to register for the course. This is exactly how deductive reasoning turns a rule and fact into a clear, logical decision.
Now I'm going to explain inductive reasoning. We start with many small real things we see or experience. This guess is not totally sure, just likely to be true. We use old experience to make fast decisions. We look back on what happened before to guess what will happen later. Probably means how possible something is with the facts we have. Prediction means we use repeated past events to guess the future. We often make decisions by looking at partners. These students check the restaurant reviews. There are many good comments at the high school, so he decides to eat there. First, lots of good shared experience created a repeat partner. Then he predicts the food will be nice. This is inductive reasoning.
Okay, and I will tell you the similarities and difference between the deductive and inductive reasoning. First is about the similarities. They are both research reasoning methods, and they help researchers understand and explain phenomena. And third, they are important in scientific studies. So let's start the difference now. Deductive reasoning starts with a theory and moves to a specific conclusion. It is used to test a hypothesis. In contrast, inductive reasoning starts with observations, find patterns, and developing a new theory. So, deductive reasoning tests theories, while inductive reasoning builds theories. So let's look at this table. It highlights the difference between deductive and inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning goes from general to specific and is common in qualitative research. Inductive reasoning goes from the specific to general and is common in qualitative research. Deductive tests existing ideas while inductive develops new ideas.
We have seen how people use deductive and inductive reasoning to make decisions. However, reasoning is not always perfect. Imagine you are scrolling through social media and using a news headline saying, "Everyone believes this man is guilty." Many people might immediately assume that he must be guilty. But is that really a logical conclusion? Just because many people believe something does not mean it is true. This is an example of an information fallacy, where people are influenced by opinions rather than evidence. Now consider another statement. Again, this conclusion is not supported by sufficient evidence. Judging someone based on appearance can easily lead to incorrect conclusions. These examples show how logical can fail when our reasoning is flawed. Illogical fallacies are errors in reasoning that lead to us to false and unreliable conclusions. They may sound convincing, but they weaken the quality of our decisions. Understanding fallacies helps us think more critically and avoid being muzzled by weak arguments in everyday life. When people make decisions, they do not only make reasoning mistakes.
Okay, now I will talking about the definition of the two methods. Okay, first, heuristics. They are just mental shortcuts we use to make quick decisions instead of overthinking everything. Like when we see a limited time offer at the shopping apps and buy it right now, your brain jumps up the thought, if I don't buy now, I will miss out. It saves time, but the catch is it is not always occurrent and can lead to mistakes. Okay, next, abduction. This is how we pick the most likely explanation for a problem. For example, if your exam scores drop, you might wonder, is it sleep, study methods, too much phone? You go from the problem to possible explanations, then pick the one that makes the most sense. So heuristics help us think fast, and abduction help us find the best explanation. Both are shortcuts our brain uses to work smarter, not harder.
Every choice we make teaches us something. Whether it works out or not, we grow. By overworking everything and acting, we turn raw information into knowledge. Three keys of reasoning work together: inductive to from hypotheses, deductive to test them, and abductive to explore new ideas. Together, they drive us forward. Good decisions come from clear goals, solid information, and emotional balance. Bad ones often stem from bias, stresses, and overconfidence. Good decisions aren't like they are logic. The better we understand reason, the better choice we make.